Yes, we are live.
Hello, everybody. Hello, babe.
Hi.
I just wanted to come on here and share for those who would like to tune in. Obviously, some exciting
Yes.
news. Obviously, if you look at my last video that I posted, I pulled 786 with my equipped suit. I think the only time I have been pulling in a suit, I would say, is for
Just for singles?
yeah, but for I want to say what, maybe 3 months at most. So
Not even.
not long.
Yeah.
So the exciting news is that I think it's fair to say that now is a time where the possibility of pulling 800 pounds
It's there.
is feasible. And for me, this is something that kind of sparked an idea, a possibility last year, given just, you know, I think arguably 2021 was the best year of powerlifting for me, hands down, given, the things that I've done and what I've been able to accomplish. But I had the idea of, what, maybe I can pull 800 pounds, maybe that's possible, right? And I think coming into this year, I would say that it's been a polar opposite of last year. But we had some life changes. Obviously, we moved to another state. Um, so training for me has not been really all the same. Uh, and I also think that too, I've been doing this for a long time, and age is coming into play too as well. So
somebody's turning 30.
Yeah.
In 2 days.
Yeah. So these are things that I'm just taking into consideration. But we pulled in a shoot. Yes, well, like I said, for the past 3 months, and I don't know. It just seemed like I was able to figure it out relatively rather quickly because I think for my technique, my deadlift is really on point. So it's not surprising that I was able to figure that out really quickly. And I mean, I'm just blown away by how quick that 786 moved. And now looking at that, I think it's safe to say that 800 is definitely feasible. You know, for me, big implications. Obviously, it's not raw. However, at the end of the day, I care about the number, and also care about the number because the implications that are behind it. So, some facts for people to know. The all-time world record deadlift in single ply 181 is 793 by an Italian man that's the name of Giovanni Brunazzi, and he did that in 1995 in Italy. That record has been standing since and has not been touched, and nobody has come close yet. The fact that I was able to pull 786 and make that look relatively easy, and it's only 7 pounds away from tying that record, I personally believe that this is something that's feasible. Obviously, I want to do this at 181 because that would eclipse the all-time world record. More importantly, though, there has yet to be anybody equipped at 181 to pull 800 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So not only do I want to break the all-time world record single ply, but I want to be the first person equipped, regardless of single ply or multiply, to break the 800-pound barrier at 181. Be the first American also as well equipped to surpass 800-pound barrier. And also be the first person tested in the equipped division to eclipse the 800-pound barrier at 181 as well. Mm-hmm. And big implications, right? Like, there's a lot of milestones and accolades that come with achieving that. And I told myself that if I was to go for any type of record or to compete again, to keep competing, it would be solely to achieve an all-time world record at least one more time. Mm-hmm. And I think it's fair to say that this is something that's, in the realm, yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised how 786 moved because I don't know, when I was watching him warm up, it relatively, like 716 moved very slow. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. mixed feelings. And I told him too. I was like, I don't think you should go for it today. Remember, I told you.
Yeah, I mean, I had to get adjusted to the suit because, interestingly enough, this it's not just a simple put it on and there's a suit
It is
goes.
not. My nails are literally. It literally rips off when I'm trying to pull his sleeve into his shoulder. It's physically like all my skin around my nails, my cuticles. It's literally like ripping because it's so like the material is so tight that when I'm like putting it up, it just scraps everything off my
Yeah,
nails. So it's very, very painful. And like, I don't understand why like people think that equip lifting is just nothing because it's so much. It's so much effort. Like, it's I can't even imagine being in that suit myself. Like I don't think like just watching him do this, it's really hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a sweet science behind it, and like I said, people don't. I think a common misconception, people think that oh well, I put the suit on, I'm just gonna lift more automatically.
But that's
That's
so
far
what
from the
is
truth.
how does that make any difference from sumo? Because you spread your leg and you lift more too. It's exactly the same for me, honestly. Like if you are going to hate on equip lifters, and equipment, I think you should also hate on sumo because it really doesn't make sense. There's both of them are relatively helping a lifter lift more weight. So what is actually the difference?
Right. And to your point, though, obviously they both require some type of technique.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that sumo is easier, but it is a lot of technique, and it's the same for equipped. He had to change the whole setup from head to toe to get into that equipped. He had to relearn his
Movement pattern.
positioning and movement and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's the first time he pulled ever in suit. The suit was so tight it pushed him forward.
I fell forward. Yeah.
So it was like he it was literally like he sprung forward because it was so much force.
Yeah, and that was just with 500 pounds.
Yeah, and then we knew that okay, well the old technique that he's been doing raw is not working for Quip, and he had to relearn the whole new technique. So it's very technical, and I don't understand why people hate on it so much, because if I were to do Equip, it would take a lot for me to decide to do Equip. It's very painful.
Yeah.
To just get in the suit. Forget about even touching the bar when you're in the suit. It takes like literally your liver to smash, your stomach to smash into your backbone to touch that bar when you're deadlifting.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
If you don't have a I will say, obviously, from personal experience here, even though like I've only been doing this for just a short amount of time, if you don't have a high pain tolerance, don't do equipped, because
Yeah.
it's in very simple terms, in order to get into the right position to lift the weight, it's going to hurt, and that's an easy way to know. Like I feel like that's an easy way to
He
know.
doesn't even he never told me it hurt. I saw brutal marks on his back, on his arms, literally every fucking where the the straps were, and it just looked painful. Like I've never heard him say that, but I can tell that it's painful because of all those marks, like bruises and bruises on the back.
Yeah.
And it literally looks like you got jumped, but it's bad.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot from an individual, a lot of energy to like do Quip, honestly.
Yeah. Like when I told her, when I get my hips down and I start to pull, I can't breathe. I everything is so tight and compressed on top of me bracing my core that I can't. If I stay in that position for too long, again, meaning where my hips are down and right where I'm about to pull, if I stay in that position for too long, I will pass out.
The first time when we tried the suit out we tried it here, the tiger one, and he couldn't even touch the bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a struggle for him to get to the bar, to touch the bar. It was painful.
Yeah, because the only way that I was able to mitigate that was as long as I can get literally one arm down, I can pull the other arm because of the arm that's already hanging onto the bar. I can pull the other arm down into the
The
bar
bar.
to grab it. Otherwise, if I don't have weight on that bar to do that, it's I can't. I won't be able to get down there. So, but all that to say again, it is a sweet science, and it's something that you have to master. And for me, like I said, I have aspirations to go for 800 next year. As far as when is that going to happen, we don't know yet. But again, being the first person equipped to cross the 800-pound barrier, and then obviously to break the all-time world record, be able to say that I broke an all-time world record both equipped and raw. I feel like for me at that point there would be nothing else that I would have to prove, and I would be more than content with walking away from competing in the sport. And I can tell you guys right now from my personal experience that for me, my goal has always been to break records, right? Specifically in the deadlift. In my powerlifting career, I've made that my primary focus, right? There's no surprise because I told myself I want to focus on one particular lift. I want to throw everything at it as far as discipline, programming, and break the accolades that I can achieve and be able to set out and achieve any particular goal I have when it comes to deadlift. And I'm happy to say up to this point that I've done that. But to me, this is the last goal that I have. Before I broke the all-time world record initially the first time last year, I wasn't even a thought across my mind. But now that I'm in this particular situation, I do see it as being possible. And you know, the next meet that I do next year could potentially be my last meet ever. And the reason why is because I want to go out on top. For me, I think it's better if you walk away when you want to, not because you have to. Obviously people get injured or burnt out. You know, again, I've been doing this for 9 years now, so burnout does happen. But the one thing that I've been able to hold on to as far as motivation and discipline and determination is to be able to achieve a record one more time. And I really enjoyed that feeling last year because it took me 7 years to break an all-time world record.
It was just crazy that moment, just to be there. There was so much energy in that moment. It was just insane to
Yeah.
even just watch that happen, because like he said, it took a lot longer, long period of time.
So, again, to be able to get that feeling one more time would be immense for me. And I feel like also, I think as a powerlifter, I think it would say a lot too to be able to say, you know what, it doesn't matter if it's raw or equipped. I've been able to achieve an all-time world record in both areas, and I feel like that kind of puts you in a position to say, well, you know what, I'm an all-around lifter. I've always been a person that I predicated my competing on. It didn't matter where I can go wherever and compete. I can be the best, right? Deadlift bar, I can do that. Stiff bar, I can do that. 24-hour weigh-in, I can do that. 2-hour weigh-in, I can do that. Obviously, raw, I can do that. Equipped, I can do
I
that.
don't think a lot of people can do that. Okay, I've been sticking with USAPL for almost 3 years. That's when I moved here. It's really hard to keep switching to different federations and getting used to their rules, because each federation does something different. It's not the same. Like USAPL does 2-hour weigh-in, where USPA does 24-hour weigh-in. So jumping from 24-hour weigh-in to 2-hour weigh-in already is a big hit.
Let alone also the pacing of the meets are different, right? USAPL meets are like maybe at most 3 hours long, and then also if you do a USPA meet, for example, that could be a 7-8 hour day.
Yeah, that's like a whole shift, and one reason I do not like um, or will not compete in USPA as of right now, because it's just too long. You have to, each time you're going for a lift, you just have to re-warm up your body
Yeah.
every freaking time. That's so much of energy you're spending.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even worth it for me to, like, you know, I don't think I would be able to hit that PR when my body is cold and I have to re-warm up again, especially in winter or spring. You know, it's very hard. So I am a big supporter of just 3 hour meets. It's just so much easier. You
It
don't
is.
have to warm up 100 times.
Yeah. So obviously, with that being said, my my intention is definitely to compete in the USAPL meet and go for this 800.
for for the single class.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Reason being is because in my entire training career and my powerlifting career, I've never trained on a deadlift bar. I've always trained on a stiff bar, and I would argue that you probably get more out of a deadlift suit with a stiff bar compared to a deadlift bar, because obviously you're going to feel the weight at a lower position. It's going to help you with more pop off the floor. So before I even considered trying to dabble with using a deadlift suit on a deadlift bar, I went to accomplish that first, and like I said, maybe in my training, because at that point I wouldn't care because I won't be competing no more. I'll probably just give the suit a try with a deadlift bar and just kind of see, what happens there. Um, I'm actually going to be doing one more meet this year. Obviously, I think I compete a lot. Um, I'll be competing at 198 in the USPA meet in Brentwood, Tennessee, where I will be attempting to go for the national record.
And that is also at our home gym,
Yeah.
Southside Strength, and we're I'm actually excited to see him compete in that platform with with the few people who we know there.
So I'll be going for the 198 deadlift only national record in the USPA, which I think the record right now is 727. As far as like what I want to attempt raw, I don't know yet. I think it's really hard to gauge right now where my raw deadlift is, but I can assure you that because of how much I've been able to do with the suit, and on top of that, what I think is feasible in the suit as well, without question, that's a good sign that my raw deadlift has jumped significantly on the deadlift bar as well at that. And here's the reason why. What I've been doing for training, and obviously this is something that I haven't really been posting on here. Obviously, I've just been posting singles, showing you guys that how it looks in the suit. When it comes to my training, I'm still doing raw volume work, but I'm actually doing the whole opposite end of the spectrum. What I mean by that, obviously, on one end of the spectrum, you're using the suit and a belt. I'm training on the polar opposite with my volume, which is with raw and no belt. So I am going completely raw with my deadlift volume work, and I only pull once a week, literally one top end single with the suit on a weekly basis. I'm doing that because to get the frequency, obviously to get my CNS primed for the week also. But I found that for me, clearly there's no need to do volume work in the suit. Just doing singles has been ideal because I'm getting the volume work already from my raw deadlift. So obviously something is clicking and working, and I'm going to keep going on that path. I know originally I did say before too that I was going to start coaching in the fall, but I pretty much want to just put that to the side because now that we're on the cusp of this, and I could be potentially competing rather soon for this record, that's going to be my focus right now. Because again, just given the implications and what's possible, that needs to be the main focus for me at this time. And, like I said, obviously, when it comes to competing, it doesn't matter for me what bar. I wanted to prove I can do it anywhere, anytime, any place, any federation, and I can show people that I can overcome and achieve what I want to achieve. And I mean, I've always said this, and I want to do everything I can to build a resume that would potentially put me in the conversation as one of the best
Best.
deadlifters ever. I
I
think
think
I think it could that could be a far fetched conversation. Obviously, I'll let the public opinion decide that, but I feel like for me, I if I want to expand on my resume and I really want to keep pushing these goals and obviously just have all these different accolades, this particular goal in particular will definitely help that a lot as far as you know having a resume to even just be in that conversation, right? Because obviously being considered one of the best ever, that's a big deal.
yeah.
Not just anybody
Not
can.
anybody can get in that conversation.
Exactly, and a person, I feel like I'm nowhere near that, but I feel like for me, in order to expand my resume with my achievements and my accolades, this would definitely be something that would definitely be a big help. And I know obviously, like when it comes to being a deadlift specialist, there really isn't any in powerlifting aside from
No,
myself that
not
I would
really.
say.
I've never heard anyone who's a deadlift specialist and has done like a very vast number or has competed in very vast number of competitions, and on top of that, very vast number of federations, because each, like I said, each federation has different bar, different rules, different weighing in stuff. So it's not easy, and it's not everybody can do that. um, and then he also trains at the highest level, so like his workout is very kick-ass. So I would not be able to keep up with that, and that's what it takes for him to be the best.
Yeah, and I think a very common misconception is people think because it's one lift that I'm doing less.
Yeah.
You would be surprised how much I do in 1 week that's
Yeah.
centered literally around, for example, just pulling that one single.
How many times do you deadlift a week
So if you want to be technical, I
with
would
all the variations?
you're looking at you're looking at 4 times a week. Every other week is 5. But again, I'm not going balls to the walls, maxing out or whatever. It's clearly based off of just variations and variation in volume and intensity as well. And I have to factor that in because again, frequency does play a factor here, right? So that's something that could tax my body very easily. But I think one thing that I do that's probably really unique is due to doing that frequency, I actually only do one top set and that's it for all these different variations. So that might be something that might be odd to people, but it's worked for me over the years. So with that being said,
Thank you for joining us.
thank you for joining, or those who will tune in and watch.
Later.
But this is a journey,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, this is the end of the road for me as far as what I want to achieve in the sport. And I'm not sad. I don't have no reason to be sad. I feel like I'm blessed and healthy and honored to be in this position. And I can assure you right now that whatever meet I decide to go for this and make this the meet to go for, I will make sure that I do everything in my power to make sure this is the best prep that I have in my life because, like I said, if I want to go out, I want to go out on top. And there's no better opportunity than this, and I can't take it lightly. And I just know for a fact that who I am as a person, a competitor, as an athlete, as a powerlifter that I've been all these years, that spark has always been something that has helped me overcome I can assure you that once I decide on what that meat is going to be, that spark is going to come again, and I'm ready to put everything to it. So
it's gonna be fun.
yeah, but
It has been a fun journey, and I was so excited for him to lift 786 last night. I couldn't even speak. So it's gonna be exciting and thrilling to watch as well.
yeah. As far as like what, by the way, as far as what the top number is going to be, as far as what I'm going to attempt in competition, we'll leave that to when the competition comes. So, thank you guys. Take care.
Have a good day.
And have a happy Thanksgiving as well.